Do you find yourself waking up in the middle of the night more often than you used to? Not once in a while, but consistently. Maybe it's 2 a.m., then 4 a.m., and by the time morning comes, you don't feel rested at all. Most people over 60 assume this is just part of aging, something you're supposed to accept. But here's what many don't realize. Waking up at night isn't always just about sleep. Sometimes, it's connected to what your body is doing before you go to bed. Small habits, simple routines, things that feel completely normal, but over time can quietly disrupt both your sleep and how your body functions during the night. My name is Dr. Adrian Keller, and in my work with patients, I've seen this pattern over and over again. People try to fix their sleep without ever looking at what's causing the interruption. In this video, I'm going to show you a simple daily habit that may be affecting your sleep more than you think, and how adjusting it can support both your rest and your overall health. Let's take a closer look. Before we go any further, it's important to understand something. Waking up at night, occasionally, is normal. As we get older, our sleep naturally becomes lighter. We may wake up once during the night and fall back asleep without much difficulty. That by itself is not a problem, but there's a difference between normal interruptions and a pattern that keeps repeating. If you're waking up multiple times every night, struggling to fall back asleep, or starting your day already feeling tired, that's when we need to pay closer attention. Because your sleep isn't just about rest, it's a reflection of what your body is doing internally. When something is off, whether it's related to your habits, your routine, or how your body is regulating itself overnight, your sleep is often one of the first places it shows up. I often tell my patients, don't focus only on how many hours you sleep. Pay attention to how often your sleep is being interrupted, because frequent awakenings, especially when they become consistent, are not something to simply ignore. They're a signal, and once you start looking at it that way, the next question becomes, what could be causing it? There isn't just one reason why people wake up at night. In most cases, it's a combination of small factors, but there are a few patterns I see again and again. The first is fluid intake too close to bedtime. Many people try to stay hydrated in the evening, drinking water, tea, or other beverages late at night. And while hydration is important, timing matters, because what goes in often needs to come out, right in the middle of the night. The second is what you eat in the evening. Heavier meals, especially those high in salt, can affect how your body manages fluid and digestion overnight. That alone can make sleep more fragmented. And the third is irregular nighttime routines. Going to bed at different times, eating late, or not giving your body time to slow down before sleep can make it harder for your system to stay in a deep, stable sleep cycle. Now, any one of these on its own may not seem like a big deal, but when they happen together, night after night, they can quietly disrupt your sleep more than you realize. And among all of these, there's one pattern that stands out the most in my patients. Let's take a closer look at that one. Among all the patterns we just mentioned, there's one combination I see more often than any other: consuming too much fluid, along with too much sodium in the evening. And most people don't even realize they're doing it, because it doesn't feel like a bad habit. It feels normal. A full dinner, a glass of water, maybe some tea before bed, nothing extreme. But when that evening meal is higher in sodium and followed by fluid intake close to bedtime, your body responds in a very specific way. Sodium affects how your body holds onto water. The more sodium you consume, the more fluid your body tends to retain. Now combine that with drinking liquids late at night, and suddenly, your body is dealing with more fluid than usual, right at the time you're trying to sleep. During the day, gravity helps distribute that fluid throughout your body, but when you lie down, that fluid begins to shift, and your body starts trying to rebalance itself, often by increasing the need to urinate, which means waking up, sometimes more than once. I tell my patients this all the time. It's not just what you eat or drink, it's when you do it, because timing, especially in the evening, can have a direct impact on how your body behaves overnight. Now, let's break down what's actually happening inside your body when this occurs, because understanding that makes everything else much clearer. Once you lie down, your body starts to shift into a different mode. During the day, gravity pulls fluid toward your lower body, your legs, your ankles, your feet. But at night, when you're lying flat, that fluid begins to redistribute. It moves back toward your upper body, including your chest and your bloodstream. Now, if you've consumed more sodium and fluids in the evening, there's simply more fluid for your body to manage, and your system has to rebalance it. One of the main ways your body does that is through your kidneys. They begin filtering that extra fluid, turning it into urine, which increases the likelihood that you'll wake up, often more than once. I explain it like this. Imagine your body storing small amounts of fluid throughout the day. When you lie down, it's like everything gets leveled out, and your system suddenly has to process it all at once. And that process often interrupts your sleep. This is why many people don't just wake up randomly. They wake up with a purpose, to go to the bathroom, to adjust their position, to deal with a sensation their body is creating. And over time, this pattern becomes consistent, night after night. Even if it doesn't feel dramatic, it slowly breaks your sleep into fragments. And fragmented sleep is very different from deep, continuous rest. Now, this doesn't happen to everyone, but in some cases, this pattern may also connect to how your body is managing circulation and pressure overnight. Now, let's talk about where your heart fits into all of this. Because while waking up at night is often related to habits, in some cases, it can also reflect how your body is managing circulation while you sleep. Your heart and your circulatory system are responsible for moving fluid throughout your body, every minute of the day and night. When you lie down and fluid shifts back toward your central circulation, your body has to adapt to that change. In healthy conditions, this adjustment happens smoothly, but when the system is under more strain, whether from elevated blood pressure, fluid retention, or other factors, your body may respond more actively during the night. That can mean more frequent urination, changes in breathing comfort, or lighter, more interrupted sleep. I often explain it like this. Think of your body as a system that works quietly in the background. During the day, everything is spread out, but at night, everything comes back to the center. And if there's more fluid to manage, or more pressure in the system, your body may not stay in that deep, stable state of rest as easily. Now, I want to be very clear. Waking up at night does not automatically mean there is a heart problem. There are many possible causes, but when it becomes frequent, persistent, and tied to patterns like fluid intake and diet, it's something worth paying attention to, because your sleep often reflects what your body is dealing with internally. And once you understand that connection, you can start making small changes that may improve both your sleep and how your body functions overnight. Now, let's talk about a few common mistakes I see all the time, because most people aren't doing anything extreme. They're just following routines that seem completely normal. The first mistake is drinking too much fluid too close to bedtime. Many people try to catch up on hydration in the evening, a few glasses of water, maybe tea before bed, and while that may feel like a healthy choice, timing makes a difference. Your body doesn't stop processing fluids just because you're going to sleep. The second mistake is having a dinner that's higher in sodium than you realize, not necessarily adding salt, but consuming foods that already contain it. Processed meals, sauces, packaged foods, these can increase fluid retention, especially overnight. The third mistake is eating too late. When your body is still actively digesting food and managing fluid balance, it becomes harder to transition into deep, uninterrupted sleep. And the fourth is simply ignoring the pattern. Waking up once turns into twice, then 3 times. And over time, it becomes normal. But your body is adapting, not improving. I always tell my patients, just because something becomes familiar doesn't mean it's optimal, and small habits, repeated every night, can quietly shape how well you sleep. Now, the good news is, these are all things you can adjust, and even small changes can make a noticeable difference. Let's talk about how to do that. The good news is that this is something you can improve with simple adjustments. You don't need to completely change your lifestyle. You just need to be a bit more intentional about your evening routine. The first thing I recommend is to adjust your fluid intake timing. Stay hydrated during the day, but try to reduce how much you drink in the last 1 to 2 hours before going to bed. That alone can significantly reduce how often your sleep is interrupted. The second is to pay attention to your evening meal. Try to keep dinner lighter and avoid foods that are high in sodium, especially later in the evening. This helps your body manage fluid more efficiently overnight. The third is to give your body time to settle before sleep. Avoid eating too close to bedtime. Allow at least 2 to 3 hours between your last meal and when you go to bed. This gives your system time to process what you've consumed before your body shifts into rest mode. And finally, aim for consistency. Going to bed at a similar time each night and keeping a steady routine helps your body regulate itself more effectively. According to organizations like the American Heart Association, small, consistent lifestyle adjustments can support better overall health. including sleep quality and cardiovascular function. And that's the key. You don't need extreme changes. You need simple habits, done consistently. Now, let's bring everything together. So let's bring this together. Waking up at night, especially more often than you used to, isn't always just a normal part of aging. Sometimes, it's a reflection of small habits that are affecting how your body functions overnight. Things like drinking too much fluid too late, consuming more sodium than you realize, eating too close to bedtime. None of these on their own seem like a big problem. But when they happen consistently, night after night, they can quietly disrupt your sleep. Not in a dramatic way, but in small interruptions that add up over time. And over time, that affects how rested you feel, how your body recovers, and how well your system functions overall. The good news is, this is something you can change, not with extreme measures, but with awareness. By adjusting a few simple habits and paying attention to your routine, you give your body the opportunity to rest more deeply and function more efficiently during the night. If this video helped you, share it with someone who might be experiencing the same thing. And if you want more clear, practical insights like this, focused on helping you understand your body and improve your health, make sure to subscribe. I'm Dr. Adrian Keller. Stay consistent, stay aware, and take care of your health. I'll see you in the next video.